I'll never forget the first time I saw it. One moment the sky was calm, just the usual stars glimmering like scattered glass, and the next, there it was, a streak of light so sharp, so deliberate, it felt alive. My stomach twisted as I realized it wasn't a plane, it wasn't a satellite, and it certainly wasn't a shooting star. It was 3I/Atlas, and somehow, staring at it, I felt both tiny and watched. At first I thought it would be just another comet, something we'd track for a few nights and then forget. But within hours, the reports started coming in, and my excitement turned into a strange unease. Its path didn't match anything the models could predict. Standard orbital mechanics couldn't explain it. Some researchers quietly admitted, off the record, that it almost looked engineered, as if it knew where to go in a way natural objects shouldn't. Through my telescope, I could see its tail faintly shimmering. It wasn't the typical icy glow I expected. No, this tail flickered with strange patches, sometimes metallic, sometimes almost glass-like. Some astronomers speculate that it might contain interstellar fragments, remnants of a place far beyond our solar system. Others are more cautious, saying it could just be optical anomalies. But the pattern feels deliberate. Too deliberate to ignore. I checked the radar feeds later that night. That's when it got weird. Certain signals we always receive, clear as day, were missing. No explanation from the agencies. Some theorize that the comet might be absorbing radio waves. Others joke that it's hiding from our sensors. In forums online, people are buzzing about secret shielding or unknown technologies. Personally, I think it's impossible to ignore how precise the timing of these anomalies was. And then there's the light. It's hard to describe without sounding insane, but the comet's head didn't just reflect sunlight, it pulsed. Not constantly, but in irregular bursts. Some amateur astronomers suggested it's outgassing, releasing pockets of gas that catch the light. Plausible. But the rhythm is odd. Almost like Morse code, almost like it's signaling something. No one will say so officially, of course. But quietly, a few researchers have hinted at it in private discussions. The next day, the sky seemed different. Not brighter, not darker, just tense. Amateur radio operators reported repeating blips and strange interference, right when the comet passed overhead. Coincidence? Possibly. But combined with the radar blackout, the odd tail, and those pulsating lights, I started to wonder if we were seeing something entirely new. Something that doesn't fit neatly into our understanding of physics. I dove into the forums, searching for explanations. There's a theory that the comet carries unknown minerals from a neighboring star system, exotic matter that reacts strangely with our instruments. Another thread suggests it might be a fragment of a larger object, a probe sent to study us, and the anomalies are intentional. Most posts are pure speculation, but some include screenshots of scientific readings that are, frankly, unsettling. Even stranger, I noticed subtle changes in the night's ambient light. Shadows in my backyard shifted unexpectedly as the comet moved. A neighbor told me their electronic devices were acting weird, lights flickering, clocks resetting. I have no proof of any connection, but the timing was uncanny. I couldn't shake the feeling that this visitor, this 3I/Atlas, was interacting with our world in ways we don't understand. By the third night, more professionals started noticing irregularities. Magnetic field readings in several observatories fluctuated slightly when the comet was near. The changes were minor, barely measurable, but consistent. Some scientists caution against jumping to conclusions. Others, speaking quietly, said it's never happened with any object passing this close. The thought that a tiny, distant body could influence our planet's magnetic field is unsettling. And yet there's beauty in it. The comet's tail curves and spirals, constantly reshaping as it dances through space. One moment it looks like a ribbon of silver, the next, like fractured glass, reflecting sunlight in impossible ways. Some speculate the metallic glimmers could be natural alloys we've never seen, others propose alien origin, but no one can confirm either. Every image makes me lean closer to the screen, trying to find a pattern, some clue, anything. At this point, the public chatter is alive. Videos circulate showing its passage, observers noting odd shadows, faint glows, and sudden spikes in brightness. A few claim to have seen miniature, spark-like flashes along the tail, gone before the telescope could track them properly. Could be cosmic debris colliding. Could be something else. The truth remains tantalizingly out of reach. Late at night, lying in bed, I keep replaying the images in my mind. I can't help thinking of it as a visitor, an intelligent messenger from a place far beyond our comprehension. There's no proof it's anything more than a natural phenomenon, yet something about the way it moves, the way it affects the instruments, feels deliberate. Some researchers, again, whisper in private that it may be studying us. Not threatening, not harmful, just watching. I still step outside each evening, hoping to catch another glimpse. Even through the telescope, even through the eyes of professionals, it feels intimate. As if it knows I'm watching. Some nights, the tail stretches impossibly long, glowing green in places it shouldn't, purple in others. The patterns are fleeting, almost artistic, but always gone before you can measure them. I've started jotting down times, angles, faint colors, hoping for a pattern. Perhaps someone else has noticed it, too. I have no answers. Only questions. And yet, in that uncertainty, a strange thrill courses through me. Something passed through our neighborhood of space, and it left questions behind, subtle, unsettling, beautiful questions. And in the silence of the night, I feel that even if 3i/Atlas never returns, it will leave a shadow in the way we see the sky. The next week was surreal. I couldn't stop watching. Each night, 3i/Atlas seemed to gain a new personality, a new layer of strangeness. Its brightness intensified in fits and starts, as if breathing. Through the scope, I could see the nucleus, not a solid white ball like most comets, but a hazy core with shifting glimmers. Some experts say it's simply ice sublimating, reacting with solar radiation. Others, speaking quietly and off the record, suggested the pulses might indicate some sort of internal structure, almost like a hidden engine. I don't know. Maybe it's just imagination. Maybe not. Then came the tail's weird behavior. Normally, comet tails drift in the solar wind, trailing behind predictably. But 3i/Atlas tail flicked, twisted, sometimes even splitting, then rejoining itself seconds later. Some researchers tried to explain it with plasma interactions, but the pattern is strange, too consistent for random solar wind. A few anonymous astronomers claimed that these movements seemed intelligent, a signal in motion. Of course, it's all speculation, but there's something uncanny about it. Late one night, I saw something that made me stop breathing. A tiny, spark-like flash near the comet's tail, gone before my telescope could focus. I thought it was cosmic dust. But then another flash, and another, in a rhythmic pattern. Amateur astrophotographers posted videos showing similar phenomena. Some called them comet fireflies. Others whispered in forums about nanostructures, interstellar debris shaped like signals, even alien tech. There is no confirmation, just faint, fleeting images, disappearing like smoke in the wind. Around the same time, magnetometers started acting strangely. Slight, almost imperceptible fluctuations, consistent with the comet's position. Most scientists dismiss it. Magnetic fields can be finicky, but some engineers, speaking anonymously, said it was unusual. The timing lines up too neatly with the comet's passage to ignore. Could it be natural? Maybe. Could 3i/Atlas be interacting with Earth's magnetic field in subtle ways? Some researchers admit privately that it's possible. Social media was ablaze. People reported seeing aurora-like glows far from the poles, colored in odd patterns, greens that shimmered into purples, fading into silvery streaks. Official channels dismissed them as atmospheric anomalies, yet multiple independent witnesses confirmed the events. Some blogs speculated about electromagnetic interference from the comet. Others suggested solar activity. No one could explain the colors or the shapes. Some nights, I swore the patterns looked almost like symbols, briefly forming and vanishing before my eyes. And then came the shadows. In several backyard observations, people noticed strange dark patches appearing and disappearing around the comet's vicinity. They didn't match cloud formations or any known celestial effects. A few amateur astronomers claimed that when the comet passed, their equipment, cameras, scopes, even motion sensors, behaved erratically. Signals flickered, images distorted. A few mentioned shadow pulses, faint forms moving in sync with the comet. Whether optical illusion, coincidence, or something more, I can't say. I started documenting everything myself. Times, angles, subtle color changes, intensity spikes. There's a rhythm, but I can't decode it. Some nights, the nucleus glows a faint blue, other nights a soft amber. Could these be chemical reactions, just natural outgassing? Maybe. Could it be intentional? Some online threads suggest so. There's a quiet but persistent theory that 3I/Atlas isn't just a wandering object, but a fragment of something larger, possibly a probe or reconnaissance body sent from beyond our solar system. I heard whispers from scientists in private forums. Some claimed that low-frequency pulses were detected during its closest approaches. Publicly, nothing is acknowledged. Yet screenshots circulate online, showing charts and graphs with repeating waveforms. Some say it's a natural resonance. Others suggest deliberate signaling. Either way, it's enough to make you question everything you thought you knew about interstellar objects. Meanwhile, images from observatories began showing a faint, shadowy form trailing near the comet. Some claim it's a camera artifact. Others insist it's a solid object moving with the comet. These images were archived and quietly replaced within hours. No explanation. The lack of transparency fuels speculation. Some in the astronomy community privately whisper about objects, escorting 3I/Atlas, adding to the mystery. Even stranger, satellites began experiencing minor anomalies coinciding with the comet's position. Signal disruptions, brief system glitches, unexpected reboots. Not catastrophic, just odd. NASA officials remained silent, dismissing coincidences. But in online forums, engineers discussed patterns too specific to ignore. Could the comet be interacting with technology, even at a distance? Or are these coincidences piling up in ways our minds can't help but connect? And through all this, the comet's tail continued to dazzle. Each night, it unfolded differently, twisting into shapes almost like brushstrokes on a dark canvas. Some nights it looked metallic, reflecting sunlight in greenish and purplish glints. Other nights, it seemed almost liquid, flowing like mercury across space. Scientists suggest it could be reflective ice particles, but the behavior doesn't match normal cometary physics. Some amateur blogs quietly hint that it might be engineered materials, fragments from an alien world. No one knows for sure. By the end of the week, I was obsessed. Every night, I watched, measured, and compared. Every flicker, every pulse, every shadow became a clue. I started noticing patterns others had overlooked. Subtle spikes in brightness when passing certain star alignments, tiny shifts in tail shape that seemed intentional. Could it be random cosmic chaos? Probably. Could it be more? The evidence is inconclusive, but it's compelling enough to make your mind wander into strange territories. I don't know what 3I/Atlas wants, if it wants anything at all. I don't even know if it's aware, in the way we understand. But every night I feel the weight of its presence, subtle yet undeniable. Something passed through our neighborhood of space, and with it, questions that don't resolve. Questions about physics, patterns, and possibly about us. And I can't stop thinking that we may be witnessing something extraordinary, something we may not fully understand for decades, if ever. By now, I felt like 3I/Atlas had a personality, almost a presence of its own. Its movements were no longer just strange, they were mesmerizing, hypnotic even. The tail, especially, had begun behaving in ways that left seasoned astronomers baffled. One night it would curl into a ribbon that stretched across the field of view like spun silver. The next, it would twist abruptly, flicking sparks of reflected light that vanished before any camera could capture them clearly. Some anonymous researchers quietly called it dancing. Others joked in forums about comet choreography. But the jokes didn't mask the unease. Something about it felt purposeful. I started noticing subtle flashes along the tail that didn't correspond to anything I'd seen before. They weren't collisions with cosmic dust, too rhythmic, too sharp. Amateur astrophotographers posted images of these fleeting sparks, some arranged in patterns that seemed to repeat across nights. Could it be fragments of some complex structure? Could these flashes be signals, coded in a language we don't yet recognize? Nobody could confirm, and officially, no one would even comment. But the internet was alive with speculation. Meanwhile, anomalies in Earth's magnetic field continued. Instruments recorded brief, localized disturbances every time the comet passed a certain angle relative to Earth. Some scientists quietly admitted that no comet we'd ever observed had this kind of subtle but consistent effect. Some amateur geophysicists noted that the disturbances correlated with minor radio interference and unusual aurora activity at lower latitudes. I began to wonder if the comet was interacting with our planet in ways that went beyond the purely visual. Could it influence magnetic fields from millions of miles away? There's a theory floating in certain circles suggesting exactly that. The visuals grew stranger. On some nights, the comet's head reflected sunlight in colors that don't exist in normal physics, flashes of teal, violet, even metallic copper. The changes were unpredictable, almost artistic, forming patterns that resembled tiny, interstellar brush strokes. Scientists insisted it was just mineral reflection and light scattering. But I started to see patterns, small repeating motifs across nights. A few posts online whispered about alien minerals, or engineered matter. I have no proof of that, only observations that don't quite fit conventional explanations. Satellite anomalies continued. Reboots, small glitches, random signal interference. Not catastrophic, but suspiciously timed with 3I/Atlas passage. Engineers in private forums quietly noted the correlation. Coincidence? Possibly. But the accumulation of small coincidences began to feel like something more. Some threads speculated that the comet could carry unknown electromagnetic properties, or even a passive signaling device, though that is purely conjecture. Then came the night I saw the shadow. Not a fleeting shadow, but a distinct, dark form trailing the comet. It moved in sync with the tail, separating briefly, then merging again. The footage was grainy, and experts dismissed it as a lens artifact. But multiple amateurs caught similar footage in different parts of the world. Officially, no statements were made. It was as if someone wanted that particular evidence to vanish quickly. The speed and timing of the replacement images in public feeds were uncanny. Observers also reported a faint hum, barely audible, low frequency, only picked up by sensitive equipment. A former NASA engineer mentioned in a private forum that he had detected it while testing instruments during the comet's closest approach. Publicly, he retracted the claim immediately. But screenshots of his post circulated quickly. Some people online speculate the comet might be emitting pulses intentionally. Others chalk it up to cosmic background noise. Either way, it's another unexplained phenomenon adding to the mystery. Even stranger, some astronomers noted that tiny fragments seemed to occasionally detach from the tail, only to vanish before hitting the inner solar system. Could it be dust? Or something more resilient, too small to detect, perhaps a probe or a signaling fragment? In private discussions, a few researchers quietly speculated that the comet might be part of a larger system, that what we saw is just a fragment, a scout of something bigger, possibly with its own hidden trajectory. There were also reports of unusual atmospheric phenomena coinciding with 3I/Atlas passage. Clouds forming strange patterns, light bending oddly, even subtle shifts in color temperature at night. While skeptics say it's just perception, enough independent reports appeared to make it hard to ignore. Some scientists cautiously suggested the comet's reflected light might interact with upper atmosphere particles in unpredictable ways. Others whispered about electromagnetic influence. And through all this, the comet seemed to watch us. Maybe it's just imagination, but I swear sometimes the core pulses in a way that feels intentional. Not threatening, not aggressive, just aware. Some online forums speculate about intelligence, some say it's merely emergent complexity, a natural self-organizing phenomenon. I don't know what it is, and neither does anyone else. All I know is that the night sky feels charged differently when 3I/Atlas passes. The deeper I dove, the more I realized how little we actually know. We see the comet, track its trajectory, measure light and magnetic anomalies, but the why remains elusive. Could it be a fragment from a faraway world? A natural object with unprecedented behavior? Or something intentionally sent here, a message waiting for someone to decode? There are no answers yet, only layers of strange, tantalizing questions. I still step outside every night, even when it seems distant. The tail's metallic glimmers, the faint flashes, the whispers of energy in the instruments, they haunt me, in a way I can't explain. And I can't shake the thought that what we saw, what we're still seeing, is only part of a story we are too early to read. Something bigger, perhaps unimaginable, moves quietly beyond our vision, leaving threads and hints that we can barely grasp. As 3I/Atlas drifted further from our solar system, something about it changed. It slowed, almost hesitated, as if taking one last glance before leaving. Through my telescope, I could still see the tail's faint shimmer, but it behaved differently now. Twisting, curling, almost like a ribbon of smoke frozen in time. Some nights, it seemed to fork into shadow-like shapes that vanished before anyone could measure them. Official explanation said it was nothing unusual, just perspective and solar wind. Yet the timing, the subtle movements, left me uneasy. Could a comet hesitate like this naturally? Some observers whispered quietly. It's aware. Images captured by professional observatories showed small, fleeting glimmers near the nucleus, not consistent with ice or dust. Some theorists suggested these might be microscopic metallic fragments, or reflective particles from a larger, unseen body. Others hinted, in private forums, that it could be a probe of some kind, a scout from a distant star system. Publicly, no confirmation was ever offered. Screenshots circulated online, quickly deleted, replaced with bland, official images. The secrecy only fueled speculation. Even the shadows seemed to linger. Amateur astronomers reported noticing dark shapes in the comet's tail that didn't match anything in the background sky. One observer swore they saw the shapes shift, almost like silhouettes moving in tandem with the comet's core. Could it be optical illusion? Possibly. Could it be something more? The timing matched the small electromagnetic pulses some engineers picked up during its last approach. The connections were tenuous, speculative, yet persistent enough to keep my mind racing. Auroras continued to behave oddly during the comet's last visible passes. Subtle colors, faint glows, in latitudes where auroras normally don't appear. I read threads where amateur scientists suggested the comet's passing might be inducing tiny disturbances in Earth's magnetosphere, influencing the ionosphere in ways we hadn't anticipated. Others insisted it was coincidence. Some nights, I watched the auroras myself, greens and purples bending in ways that defied what I'd learned in textbooks. It felt as though the comet left a mark on the world, subtle but undeniable. The tail's reflections became more elusive, flickering like liquid mercury. Every photograph captured a slightly different pattern, never repeating, never stable. Some nights it seemed to pulse softly, a heartbeat in the dark. On forums, some speculated that 3I/Atlas contained a crystalline structure capable of refracting light in ways that created these impossible colors. Others whispered about exotic materials, engineered for observation, though no one could prove it. The beauty was almost hypnotic, yet tinged with unease. As the comet moved farther, satellite anomalies continued to appear, though less frequently. Engineers quietly shared logs of minor glitches coinciding with the comet's position. Devices rebooted, signals dropped, instruments recorded faint, unexplained noise. Publicly, authorities dismissed these as coincidences or normal technical errors. Privately, some speculated that the comet carried a passive electromagnetic signature that interfered with human technology from millions of miles away. Could it be sending us subtle signals? Or simply interacting with the laws of physics in ways we do not yet understand? The line between science and speculation blurred. Some nights, I felt like the comet was observing us back. Not consciously, perhaps, but there was a rhythm, a pulse, in its movement and light that suggested purpose. The subtle flashes, the flickers in the tail, the metallic gleams, all these details seemed to whisper that 3I/Atlas was more than just an interstellar object. Some online forums even discussed the possibility of intelligence. Not the humanoid kind, but awareness, observation, maybe even testing our attention, our curiosity. It's impossible to verify, yet the feeling persisted. Then it was gone. The last observation showed a faint point of light retreating into the black. Its tail, once vivid and twisting, dissipated into invisible particles, leaving nothing but questions. Images replaced quickly, as if someone wanted the final details hidden. And yet, even in its absence, I still felt the presence of 3I/Atlas. Shadows of its path lingered in the data, in the anomalies, in the auroras, in subtle pulses we couldn't explain. Something had passed through our neighborhood of space, leaving a quiet but profound impression. People online debated endlessly. Was it just a wandering fragment of interstellar debris, behaving unusually? A probe? Or something entirely beyond our understanding? A visitor with a purpose we cannot yet comprehend? There is no answer. Only patterns that tease the mind, fleeting flashes in the sky, anomalies in data that refuse to align with conventional physics. Some claim to have glimpsed intelligence, others deny it entirely. Every report, every observation, fuels the speculation, but confirms nothing. And me? I keep looking up. Night after night. Measuring, noting, recording. The comet is gone, but its echoes remain. Its tail, its flashes, the subtle electromagnetic whispers, they all leave me questioning what's real, what's coincidence, and what might be a message from somewhere far beyond. Some of the best minds in astronomy insist it's all natural. Yet in forums, in whispers, in those fleeting screenshots no longer officially available, the questions remain alive, unresolved. I don't have the answers. I only have the observations, the patterns, and the feeling that 3I/Atlas was more than just a passing object. Something unusual, something subtle, something that reminds us that the universe is alive with mysteries beyond our comprehension. Whether it was deliberate or natural, intelligent or purely chaotic, I'll never know. But I do know this: I saw it, I followed it, and it left a shadow on the night sky that refuses to fade. And whether that shadow was merely coincidence, or the first trace of something far grander, is for you to decide.